Hi everyone. This is Laura. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to re-swatch my Dr. PH Martin's liquid concentrated watercolors, and I'm going to be re-swatching all four collections today. So that's 56 different colors that I'm going to be re-swatching. So why are we re-swatching all of these when we just swatched them all? Well, I will tell you in this video why I'm going to be doing that and how I'm going to be using that in future projects. If you haven't seen the first video that I have on swatching with the Painter's Color Diary, I will link the above. You can click the I above this video, and I also will have the link down below in the description for you. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to that video first, watch that one, and then come back and revisit this one. I think it'll be helpful for you. So these four collections, set A, B, C, and D, I have the links as well for those down in the description below for you if you are interested in seeing what they're about, or just to get some more information on the Dr. P.H. Martin's Radiant concentrated watercolors in themselves. They have different sets and different series to choose from, and they all have little different curated colors within them. So there might be a set that you're interested more than others. And again, I go through those sets in the first video. So that will also help you decide which ones you like. Okay, so let's get into today's video. So why am I swatching these again when I've already swatched these? Well, the first reason we have is these sets are not in color wheel order. They are not in what would typically be known as a rainbow order. So when they come, they're in different colors. Like I said, there might be a pink, there might be a blue, there might be a green and brown, but they're not all like in, like you can see right here, they're not all in rainbow order. So when I go to use these colors, I am going to be I'm going to be selecting the right color for the project that I'm going to be doing. So in future videos, I will show you, in fact, the next video after this one, I will show you how I'm using this and how I'm implementing this re-swatch method. So the way I did it the first time in the first video, I swatched per set. So each of the sets I swatched in set A, all the colors in set A. Set B, all the colors in set B. So that's how I have it. So when you look at it, it's kind of a mishmash of colors. So now re-swatching, I'm using those first swatch sheets out of this Painter's Diary. And again, I'll have that link below as well. Using that, and I'm marking down 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on through the 56 colors to get them into color wheel or rainbow order. So I started with, as you can see, the first one I started with is the ice yellow. And I applied that in box number 1, and the next one in box number 2. And then I have the sunshine yellow, the lemon yellow, and right now I'm just finished painting the Indian yellow. So I'm writing down the name and the color, number, and letter associated with the color. So I know that Indian yellow is number 54D. So it's number 54 in the set that's the D set. So if I'm looking for that particular one, I know where I can find it. So again, here are the sheets that I used, and I keep going back and forth referring to them so I know what order to put these colors in. Now, some of them jump, as you'll see. Throughout, there's going to be a couple different color jumps where there's not what you would look as maybe a color transition for between two different colors. You'll see that like one might go from like an orange and then right to a red, and there is no color in between. So I call that a color jump. And so therefore, reason number 2 is the color jumps. I will be able to see if there's a gap in my color wheel or in my spectrum of colors where if I'm looking for a specific color, I know that I'm going to have to mix that. And there's where those play swatches came in at the end of the first video, where I can mix colors together to get that specific color. So the color jumps are reason number 2 is why I do this. So I'm looking through and you can see that I have like little green fine, like a fine green pen, and I marked number 1, number 2, number 3, and I'm doing that ahead so I know to grab out of my set that specific color, and that's how I'm going to do these in order. So you can see set D right there. See how there's like a mishmash of colors. I love the collections that Dr. P.H. Martin's curated, but for me to be able to pull out a color, a very specific color that I want to use to paint, I need to see them next to other, like say a yellow. I need to see that next to other yellows. I need to see a turquoise next to other turquoises so I can make the right selection in color and color value. Most of the time I'm painting from a black and white photograph, and value is very important, especially in a black and white photograph, and translating values. So when I see the black and whites and grays and the different tonal values, I want to make sure that I match up a good color to that tonal value in the black and white spectrum. So for me, re-swatching for that purpose, to select the right color, which was the first reason. And the second reason was to identify jumps in color. The third reason is I want to make sure if I run out of a color or if I go to reorder a color, I know that I'm not replicating the colors I already have. So when I mark down these colors in the first section where I marked them down or swatched them according to set, I can write down if I use this color a lot, if I don't use this color at all. If I go to the store, say if I go to Hyatt's or go to another art store, I can take my swatches with me because, again, they pull out of this painter's diary, they pull out of the spiral. So I can take this with me and I can see what colors I use the most. I can match it up with the color bottles they have there. And I can make sure that I don't over order or rebuy a color that I already have that I don't use. So that is another really good reason to re-swatch these. Again, I'm re-swatching these because of the collections that they're in. If these were not in any specific collection and I just bought them a la carte and did my own color wheel order, or if I bought a set that, say maybe a set of 12 that already came in rainbow order or color wheel order, I wouldn't have to re-swatch them because they would already be in that order. So having all 4 sets and re-swatching them So the color wheel order, it gives me a better sense of what colors I do have, how many yellows I do have to work with, and make sure that, I select the right color. I'm hoping all this makes sense. Also, for mixing my own colors, I want to make sure that I use the right color. And sometimes if I don't, that's okay too. But I always try to get like the closest that I can. And sometimes if I'm looking for a specific color, say I am painting a dress on a lady from the 1940s, and I want it to be a specific olive color, and say I don't have that color in my set, I will know that I can mix certain colors together to get that right. So that is really important to me as well. So you can see here there is a little bit of a jump in the yellows. So from this sunset yellow to the tiger yellow, if you buy any paint set, any color pencil set that has collections, so you're buying specific sets for specific collections, if you buy all the sets, or if you only buy the sets that you need to buy, swatching those out once you get all of them together. And it might not necessarily be in collection order, but it is in color wheel order. So for me personally, this is how I choose my colors. If I just use the swatches that I used from the first video, like the one I have here sitting off to the side, if I just use that sea of color is overwhelming for me. I will just stare at those colors and get lost in the beauty of that individual color versus what I'm supposed to be doing and finding a color for my project. So having it swatched out in color wheel order again is very, very helpful to me. I'm going to let you watch the rest of this, and I will jump back in a little bit. All right, so we're going to jump to a new page. I'm just flipping over the glassine sheet and starting a new page. And like I said before, these pages can be ripped out or taken out very easily. So I'm not worried about everything not fitting onto one page. So as I was going along, I started lining up the bottles that I was going to be using, like like a queue that I was going to be using next in line, because I am very distracted and my kids are usually home at this point when I'm working. And if I didn't do this, I would have probably skipped one or probably like forgot one. I have to say that Dr. Martens really gives a nice variety of blues, and Kelvin came over and was pointing at the blues that he really liked too. So the blues that Doc Martens provides, I really cannot complain about. They are superb and very yummy. So, yeah, it's right about here where my camera decided to stop. So, I have the end here of the rest of the greens and the ochres and all the browns that I had swatched. So, that's where we're going to end the Dr. Martens. I so apologize about that. If you want to check out the first video, you'll be able to see the exact colors and the actual swatching of those individual colors shown on those that last row and a half. So as a little bit of a bonus video, I have 2 rows left on the rest of this page that I didn't want to waste. So I pulled up my Derwent watercolor pencils that I have had probably for about 30 plus years. And I went ahead and swatched those because the last 2 rows are exactly what I have in the amount of pencils. So it worked out really well. So this is how I swatched pencils a la carte. You can still see, I'm pointing like you can see me pointing. You can still see the price sticker on that pencil right there. And that's how old these are. So these, again, are very old and they're not swatching as well as I would have hoped. I'm not sure if it's the binder in the pencils or if it's just the quality of the pigment within the pencils. But these are the Cumberland series that I have, and I'll just let you watch the rest of that, and I'll pick it up at the end. Yeah, you can kind of tell that these are pretty old. They've been sitting in my drawer and I just put them in my jar and remembered I had them. So, yeah, they didn't work out as well as I had hoped. The set didn't keep too well, but they'll have its place for some project, I'm sure. I don't throw any of my art supplies out, even though they're 30 years old. So I know this isn't quite the retro vintage video that you're used to from me, but we'll do that in the next one. This was important as an application for the following videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.